incorporate the latest technologies, including high-intensity laser therapy that provides the highest success rates in helping people just like you avoid back and neck surgery. With our treatments, there are no drugs and no surgery, just relief. Call today for a free spinal disc severity consultation and see if our treatments are right for you. Call 715-203-4392 or visit us at spinalaid.com. Start living your life pain-free.
These days, news seems to come from all directions, and it can be overwhelming. Simplify your intake by watching news from where you live. WJFW NBC News Watch 12. We deliver critical local and national news, sports highlights, and weather updates. Watch us daily on Channel 12. Visit us at WJFW.com or like us on Facebook. We are NBC News Watch 12. You're watching News Watch 12. News from where you live.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, the United States Senate voted to acquit former President Donald Trump over the weekend on a single article of impeachment for inciting the insurrection at the Capitol. We'll have the details. Plus,
we have a frigid morning with temperatures well below zero, but a warm-up is on the way. Your full forecast is coming up.
Everything's going to be a sheet of ice. My customers aren't going to be happy with me because I can't get salt to provide for them.
And it's not just here in Wisconsin. Half of America is under winter weather advisories as freezing temperatures grip the country. We'll have the latest. It's Monday, February 15th.
Your local news and weather from where you live. News Watch 12 today starts now.
good morning, and thanks for starting your day with us. I'm Marissa Silvas alongside Peter Dubois, and actually, truly alongside Peter Dubois this morning.
It's so great to have you back, Marissa. It's been strange, this dynamic doing the show with you at home, but it just really is so great to be able to welcome you back into the studio.
Of course, we're taking a lot of COVID precautions, as everyone else across the country is, and we're still going to be distanced here on set, but it is so nice to be back with you guys. And I also decided to come back on the coldest morning of the year. Why not, right? So because of this frigid weather outside, though, we do have a lot of schools that have decided to close for the day. Merrill and Wausau schools are doing virtual-only days, while a lot of other schools, such as Rhinelander, Northland Pines, and Antigo, are completely closed.
And you can check out our website, WJFW.com, or the crawl at the bottom of your screen to see what your district is doing today. And of course, that cold just causing problems for everyone this morning. But for more on what to expect throughout the day, let's head right on over to our weather center with Devin Biggs in for a first check of our forecast. And Devin, it just really chills you to the bone this morning as you step out the door.
Yeah, I'm almost running out of ways to describe how cold it is. It's just ridiculously cold outside this morning. My hands are still cold this morning. I haven't even been outside in a while either. But here's this really crazy setup we have. Let's show you the radar, where we're calm here, but there's snow in Houston, Texas, and winter storm warnings in effect for virtually the entire state of Texas, even the southern tip, where the entire state overall. We normally don't see temperatures this cold, and here we are with wind chill warnings in effect for most of us. I'm actually going to zoom this map out and just look at all the advisories that are in effect. This actually is not showing the winter storm warnings either, but there's a lot of advisories in effect, and that's not going to help us out much either. Let's actually throw those on the map. This is a very, very busy setup, and we have temperatures that are also chilly for us, and temperatures that are well below zero to 30 below in some cases. We'll show you that coming up in a little bit. But your remote learning forecast for those remote learning today, very chilly temperatures making it to 2 degrees by the afternoon period.
Thanks, Devin. The United States Senate has voted to acquit former President Donald Trump on a single article of impeachment for inciting the insurrection at the Capitol.
The final vote was 57 to 43, which fell short of the 67 votes needed to convict the former president. 7 Republican senators joined all 50 Democrats in voting to convict. The vote ends the second impeachment of Donald Trump, with each ending in acquittal. The 5-day trial came after the House on January 13th passed the impeachment article just a week after the mob of Trump supporters attacked the Capitol. Former President Trump released a statement after his acquittal, calling the impeachment, in his words, another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. The 7 Republican votes marked the most bipartisan votes of a guilty in Senate impeachment trial history.
And the first impeachment of Donald Trump included one Republican, Utah Republican Mitt Romney, voting to convict. No members of the president's party voted to convict Bill Clinton nor Andrew Johnson.
Wisconsin's Republican Senator Ron Johnson took to Twitter after the final vote, saying, quote, "The Democrats' vindictive and divisive political impeachment is over. While there are still many questions that remain unanswered, I do know neither the Capitol breach nor this trial should have ever occurred. Hopefully, true healing can begin now," end quote.
Wisconsin's Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin also put out a statement on Twitter saying, quote, "I voted for convicting Trump because he should be held accountable for inciting a violent insurrection against the will of the people, Congress, and our democracy. He should be held accountable for violating his oath of office and failing to support and defend our Constitution."
Well, on Saturday, we reported a fatal crash in Three Lakes where a man was struck by a vehicle that he was helping out of a ditch. Well, officials have now updated us on that incident. Authorities released the names involved in that crash: 59-year-old George E. Steinhaus, who was pronounced dead at the scene, and 29-year-old Samuel E. Steinhaus, who was the operator of the vehicle. The 29-year-old has been arrested on charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle, third offense operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or drugs, operation of a motor vehicle after revocation, and failure to install ignition interlock device. Now, that crash is still under investigation.
Over the weekend, across the state, Wisconsin DHS reported a total of 1,265 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. On Saturday, DHS reported 752 new cases with 10 new deaths. Saturday's percent positive was 16.7%. Sunday, DHS reported 503 new cases with 1 new death. The state's death toll now sits at 6,162. Sunday's percent positive rate fell from Saturday to 12%. There are currently more than 11,000 active cases across the state, with more than 537,000 people listed as recovered.
Firefighters were called to put out a blaze at a Racine home after a woman tried to heat up rubbing alcohol on her stove in order to help melt ice on her car. Authorities say the incident happened around 6:30 in the morning on Sunday. After the alcohol caught fire, the woman tried to take the burning pan outside, but she tripped and spilled the contents on an area rug. WDJT-TV reports the fire caused an estimated $10,000 in damage. One person was injured and taken to the hospital for treatment.
Brutal and record-breaking. Half of America is under winter weather advisories as freezing temperatures grip the country. Britt Conway has a look at the storms that are sweeping across the nation.
Back-to-back storms stretching coast to coast. The severe winter weather that started last week continues into this week, breaking records along the way. In the Pacific Northwest, Seattle saw more snow than it's seen in 50 years.
Normally, we get snow but no wind, or wind and no snow, but, the two together is just pretty hard to manage.
Multiple states declared a state of emergency this weekend, including Oklahoma, which saw at least 80 car crashes. Houston topped 100, and the president approved a federal emergency declaration in the state. The weather has taken its toll on power lines across the country. More than 500,000 people in 5 states didn't have power Sunday night. But with more winter weather expected, the preps continue.
If we have to plow, it takes 6.5 to 7 hours to plow each one of the routes. So we just would like people to just be patient.
In Connecticut, they're worried about running out of salt.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it could be a disaster. Everything's going to be a sheet of ice. My customers aren't going to be happy with me because I can't get salt to provide for them. I mean, we've had a lot of storms back to back to back to back. We've used up all our resources.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Now in South Georgia and Florida, severe thunderstorms and heavy rain are in the forecast. So just really all across the country, everybody getting hit with a little bit of something.
Absolutely. Well, coming up in our international news, protests in Haiti turned violent, calling for the president there to step down.
Plus, the large earthquake in Japan knocks out power for thousands of people. We'll have those stories and more news from around the world when we come back.
Tonight,
I believe in you.
2 special episodes of The Wall, back to back.
This could be a life-changing moment for us.
She is amazing! I believe that we will win! Yes!
The Wall, new tonight on NBC.
You're strong. You power through chronic migraine. 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. So if you haven't tried Botox for your chronic migraine, check with your doctor if Botox is right for you and if samples are available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
95% of patients may pay as little as $0 for Botox, so text to see how you can save. Botox is the #1 prescribed branded chronic migraine treatment. So ask your doctor about Botox today.
It's the huge President's Day sale going on now at Lakeland Furniture and Mattress in Minocqua and Anago. Get huge savings of 23% off our already low sale price during this sales event. Plus, get 1-year interest-free financing on all the top name brands, including Amish-made furniture. We have a great selection of in-stock mattresses all on sale with 23% off savings. So don't miss this President's Day sales event going on now at Lakeland Furniture and Mattress in Minocqua and Anago.
And welcome back. If we're all running out of ways to say it's cold outside, well, I'll use the word frigid this morning because it's safe to say this is probably our coldest morning of the year, with many temperatures well below zero this morning. We even had temperatures in our viewing area in 36 below range over in Phillips, 34 below Mantua Waters. Ouch is kind of the best word to use this morning. There's not much of a wind out there, which is our saving grace this morning. So the temperatures are basically the wind chills this morning, where we're, of course, many of us near 29 below. You see this little shade right there? That's near 40 below wind chills, if not worse, for those areas where there is a light breeze this morning. So wind chill warnings are in effect as a result, as there's an extreme frostbite risk this morning. And over the next few mornings, too, we can see we're going to start to improve things as we head towards the latter parts of the week, with temperatures that'll be making it well above zero. That will be feeling pretty nice. But here is the rude wake-up call this morning, with wind chill warnings in effect for most of us, except Adams County under a wind chill advisory. So you get the idea. Wind chills near 40 below will be expected, so we'll need to make sure to watch that as we head out the door. For those of you that do have to head out the door this morning, otherwise just stay inside and keep warm. Otherwise, no cloud cover this morning. It's very calm and quiet for us. Not for other places. Here's what we're seeing right now. With snow where snow doesn't typically fall in Texas, and then ranging up all the way up towards parts of the Northeast, with a very unusual setup with wind chill warnings across most of the country. But this shade here, wind chill advisories, and this pink area, all winter storm warnings for Texas, the southern panhandle, all the way up towards the north and east. So a wide swath of areas getting affected by this very unusual system, and it's getting cold in places where they don't normally get cold for this time of the year. So here's Futurecast for today. We'll see some sunshine to start this morning with a few passing clouds at times. That's really going to be our pattern for most of this week, with on and off chances of clouds with clear skies. But the good news is temperatures will be warming up, but we just can't seem to get any precipitation. It's probably about time we could use a little bit more snow around here to help freshen up those snowmobile trails just a little bit more. But otherwise, we're looking pretty quiet. But otherwise, the big story: 2 degrees is all we're going to do today. Partly cloudy skies with that northwest wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Look at these wind chills, 30 to 40 below. 40 below is that cutoff for wind chill warnings to be issued, so we'll be near that for most of the day. Tonight we'll drop into around 12 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Wind chills not as bad, with winds calming down to around 5 miles per hour. We could see wind chills near 25 below. But for tomorrow, though, we'll improve overall. Light breeze in the morning, then calming down more in the afternoon. We'll warm up to 15 above zero. Hello, heat wave, right? With partly cloudy skies, wind chills near 25 below. So again, still bundle up at times, but things will start to improve throughout the next several days, too. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. Look how dry this forecast is. Just a mixture of clouds and sun, but refreshing temperatures on the way. We'll be in the lower 20s above zero later on this week. Then upper 20s by Sunday. Our only chance for snow on Sunday. Temperatures of around 28 degrees. Marissa?
That does look a lot better. Thank you so much, Devin. Well, residents in northeastern Japan cleaned up some clutter and debris on Sunday after a strong earthquake set off a landslide on a highway that damaged buildings and train lines and caused power blackouts for thousands of people.
This tops our international news this morning. The 7.3 magnitude earthquake on Saturday shook the quake-prone areas of Fukushima and Miyagi prefectures that 10 years ago had been hit by a powerful earthquake that triggered a tsunami and a meltdown at a nuclear power plant. Footage showed cracks in the road, heavily damaged buildings, and a grocery store with bottles and cans strewn across the floor. More than 140 people suffered mostly minor injuries, many of them from falling objects and cuts while stepping on broken glass. A government official said 3 people were confirmed with serious injuries. However, there were no reports of any deaths.
At least one protester has been killed as demonstrations against the Haitian president in Port-au-Prince on Sunday turned violent. Thousands took to the streets in Haiti's capital to demand the president resign from office. Demonstrators threw rocks at police, who in turn fired tear gas and also rubber bullets into the crowd at different points throughout the city. The protester who was killed died when he was set on fire by what some witnesses claim were government supporters. A journalist was reportedly hit by a rubber bullet in the back. Protesters burned piles of tires, blocking major roads in the Haitian capital as they try to reach the offices of the Organization of American States to deliver a message. The opposition claims that the president's 5-year term ended on February 7th, but he has reiterated that it ends in February of 2022 since he was not sworn in until 2017.
Mexico is reducing its COVID-19 alert level in about half of the country's states. Shopping malls in Mexico City partially reopened during the past week. The capital and other parts of Mexico have seen a drop in infections and hospitalizations. Mexico City's mayor announced that starting next week, gyms, indoor swimming pools, and churches will all be allowed to open, and restaurants will be able to operate outdoors until 10 p.m. But the government is asking people to keep wearing face masks, washing their hands, and keeping a safe distance apart. The falling COVID-19 numbers are an improvement. However, Mexico is one of the hardest hit countries with nearly 2 million confirmed infections. The death toll of 173,000 is the 3rd highest in the world, behind only the U.S. and Brazil.
Well, it's now about 5:15, and coming up next in our medical news, a new study shows a rise in heart disease deaths among younger women.
Plus, how some nursing students are getting some extra help from robots. We'll have those stories and more health news when we return.
Play your way. Dine your way. Stay your way. Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg. Win your way.
Westside Market Discount Store is a veteran-owned mom-and-pop shop.
Welcome, welcome.
Where you can find a large variety of items, including an expanding selection of gluten-free products at great prices. Check out our new addition, the latest in our effort to give you the best service possible. Westside Market is the only dry cleaning drop-off in Merrill, and now the only U-Haul dealer as well, with curbside pickup and free local delivery. Westside Market is here to serve our community. Find us on Facebook.
What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so excited. I just can't wait for summer.
Can't wait to get on the water and want a private shopping experience to start planning your summer weekends? Then go to our website and book your VIP tour with American Marine and Motorsports in Shawano. Get first crack at the lowest prices anywhere, and we're matching deposits up to $1,000 on select products. Don't get left out in the cold. Book your VIP private shopping experience at American Marine now.
When the owners of Kelk Land Improvement and Kelk Septic Service of Woodruff want the forecast for the Northwoods, they go to WJFW.com and check their hometown weather.
Available 24/7 at WJFW.com.
Since its inception 5 years ago, Incredible Bank Foundation and Incredible Bank employees and owners have donated nearly $1,250,000 to charities throughout the Minocqua and Eagle River area. But the truest measure of our support comes from our employees, who have contributed $4,000 in 5 short years to community organizations that better the lives of residents living in Minocqua and Eagle River. Incredible Bank, helping you start something incredible and finishing it.
Head to Eagle River this weekend for the World Series of Snowmobile Racing. Check out derbycomplex.com for tickets and information.
NBC News Watch 12. News from where you live.
And welcome back. The best word to describe these temperatures this morning is pretty much blah. It is cold outside this morning. 37 below over in International Falls. Similar situation here. Temperatures well below zero with 24 below in Rhinelander and 36 below in Phillips. We'll keep an eye on that as we proceed throughout the morning.
Thanks so much, Devin. Well, heart disease deaths among younger women are on the rise.
And this tops our medical news this morning. That's according to a new study from Johns Hopkins University. Researchers looked at death certificates for women under 65 between 1999 and 2018. They found heart disease deaths initially dropped during this period, but then they began to increase. Experts say rising rates of obesity, diabetes, and stress among younger women have contributed to this troubling trend.
New research from Sweden suggests older men whose blood pressure rises at night may face a higher risk for Alzheimer's disease. Now, typically blood pressure dips as we sleep, but some people have an opposite pattern known as reverse dipping. The 24-year study of 1,000 men in their early 70s showed the risk of Alzheimer's was 1.64 times higher among those with reverse dipping. Experts say these findings add to the evidence that nighttime is critical for our brain health.
About a third of parents say the COVID pandemic has disrupted their children's dental care. The findings come from a University of Michigan poll of 1,800 parents with at least one child. And while most were able to get dental appointments for their children, 24% experienced a delay and 7% couldn't get one at all. But there was some good news. A quarter of parents say that their children had improved their brushing and their gum care during the pandemic.
Well, the pandemic has forced the world of education to think outside the box.
Of course, and at UT Arlington in Texas, nursing students are doing just that with the help of robots. Alana Guillen shows us how.
Instructor. I'll be honest, talking to a robot feels a bit surreal.
I think that this may be the wave of the future, the way that we do things.
Really, I'm interviewing Jennifer Roy of UT Arlington's College of Nursing. She's dialed in from another location, but we're able to talk and walk together through the halls of the Smart Hospital without any physical contact.
With the pandemic and with pushing us out of our box, per se, we like it outside of our box now.
And this is the basis of what's helped the nursing program navigate the pandemic.
With telemedicine becoming a big thing now, this is basically the same concept.
These are telepresence robots. It's got wheels, a big screen, cameras, and fancy sensors. The technology is nothing new, but the robots have proven to be incredibly helpful when students and professors have to work remotely due to illness, quarantine, safety concerns, or distance.
We have mobility, so I can move around. They could actually attend clinical without missing the time there.
Now the university is tripling its fleet of robots this year thanks to a nursing innovation grant they just got from the state.
I think that going forward, a lot of these new modalities and these new innovative ways of teaching will stick around.
And even after the pandemic is long over, the nursing school plans to keep the fleet. The world needs nurses, and the robots can help make that happen.
To educate nurses in rural areas. This technology really allows us to bring nursing education where it's never been, bring clinical experiences, and the hope is that those students we're educating stay in their communities, provide high-quality health care.
It's really amazing to see not only just the technology that's available, but also them having the ability to move around. You know, I've seen this being used in classrooms now and also now in hospitals. So just a wonderful thing to come out of, all this innovation during the pandemic.
Absolutely. And again, forcing us to think outside the box. And I like that, it's kind of smooth on wheels. It's much better than, say, a person trying to hold an iPad around and show everyone what they're looking at. Yep. Definitely a lot smoother there. Well, coming up next in sports, the Bucks finish finished off their road trip in OKC. We'll have the highlights from that game.
Plus, we'll head to Daytona for a recap of the biggest NASCAR event of the year. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
There are never enough hours in the day. I'm always making trade-offs, sacrifices. But I'll keep going. Even when it feels like there's no way I can do it all, I won't give up. I'm doing this for me and for them. We're doing this together. North Central Technical College's virtual college. Flexible learning, because our time is precious.
Menards has the best and brightest ideas for lighting your home. Explore our lighting showroom and get the update you're looking for in any room. Find your style with over 1,000 options with Patriot Lighting. Add a sophisticated look with the Chantel Collection. The chandelier is just $124.99. Or choose an industrial style with the Steel Collection. This 6-light island light is only $179.99 during Menards Race to Savings Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
My name's Arthur, Merrill, Wisconsin. In August of 2019, I started getting numbness in my feet. By July of 2020, my feet were so numb, I lost a sense of balance. I thought I was walking on stilts. I seen this ad for Spinal Aid. I took 20 treatments from them, and by then my feet were 90% better and no longer felt as I was walking on stilts.
Are you experiencing weakness, numbness, and/or pain in your feet or hands? These sensations might even be affecting other areas of your body along with your balance. You might have already been diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy and are taking drugs such as Lyrica, gabapentin, or Cymbalta that never seems to help. Neuropathy pain ultimately diminishes your quality of life. Call Spinal Aid of Wausau today to see if our treatment methods are right for you. Call 715-203-1508 to schedule your neuropathy severity consultation or visit us at spinalaid.com.
Welcome back. After losing their last two, the Bucks were trying to end their road trip yesterday on a positive note as they played the Thunder. But the Bucks, they were just unable to get their offense going in the first half. They only had 41 points going into the locker room at the break. Milwaukee, though, did get things going in the third, and they tied the game up going into the final 12 minutes. But the Thunder were able to pull away in the fourth and win this one 114-109. Giannis Antetokounmpo led with 24 points. He also had a triple-double. The Bucks will now head home to face the Raptors for 2 games starting on Tuesday, and tip-off for tomorrow's game is scheduled for 7 p.m.
All right, well, coming off a win, the Badgers came back home for a tough game as they hosted third-ranked Michigan Wolverines. Those Wolverines had not played in 23 days, though, due to COVID, and their performance showed a little bit in the first half. The Badgers led by 12 at the end of the half, boasting a much better shooting percentage as well. But the Wolverines found their groove in the second, and it proved to be just too much for the Badgers as Michigan would win 67-59. Demetric Trice led the Badgers with 16 points. And then now Wisconsin will welcome in the 15th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes on Thursday. Tip-off for that game scheduled for 6 p.m.
The 2021 NASCAR season began yesterday with the 63rd annual Daytona 500. Alex Bowman started on the pole. However, he was involved in a crash on lap 14 that ended his day. And this race was delayed for nearly 6 hours because of weather in the area. But finally, after the final pit stop, Joey Logano was in the lead, and he held that lead going into the final lap. Then he was spun out by his teammate, Brad Keselowski. That resulted in a huge wreck. And so underdog Michael McDowell was in the right place at the right time. He was out front when the caution came out, and he collects his first career win. So NASCAR will stay at Daytona for next week's race. However, they will be running on the infield road course. And you guys, that race actually didn't end until after after 11 o'clock last night. So that was a really significant delay, and I'm not sure if a lot of people stayed up for the ending, but very interesting and always exciting to have NASCAR back.
No, absolutely. I know there's so much interest around that, but definitely a little bit past our bedtime.
Yeah.
Devin, just as we're getting up this morning, right about now, we're experiencing some of the coldest temperatures that we will see all day.
These cold temperatures, I just wanted to hit the snooze alarm and just go back to bed. It was just too cold to just go outside this morning. Yeah, coldest temperatures of the year. I think it's safe to say we are seeing that this morning. It is chilly out here. With these cold temperatures, the roads are not recovering very well from the snow that we saw over the weekend. Let's show you the road conditions right now, where we are seeing a few slippery stretches. So you know what to do by this point. Just slow down and allow extra time to get to where you're going. We're seeing a few slippery stretches out there. Well, otherwise, here's a big story. Ouch. 36 below in Phillips, 24 below here in Rhinelander, 28 below in Merrill. Many areas waking up chilly this morning, and that's probably an understatement too, so just be smart if you do have to head outside. We're calm here in the Northwood set aside with the cold temperatures, the snow moving through Illinois this morning. But otherwise, your travel forecast, a big story, cold. We'll have temperatures in the low single digits. We'll have the sunshine coming out at times. We'll have partly cloudy skies during the afternoon period. The temperatures in the lower single digits, and down toward the south, a little warmer, but not by much. Still cold temperatures, and with mostly cloudy skies for a few areas. We'll have more coming up after the break.
If you're a contractor or do-it-yourselfer, make Argonne Lumber your first stop. High-quality materials, personalized service, expert staff, and delivery are just some of the things Argonne Lumber is known for. Stop in and smell the lumber at Argonne Lumber, 2 locations in Argonne and Rhinelander.
Take a piece of chocolate if you're the tallest. Take a piece of chocolate if you're better at eating your vegetables. Take a piece of chocolate if you love sharing.
This is one of the biggest furniture events of the year, the President's Sale at Slumberland. Come on. Slumberland Furniture has the best prices around on all sorts of furniture. And right now at our President's Sale, everything is an additional 25% off our already low price.
This is totally you.
Oh. Yeah, this is the winner. Well, hello, Slumberland.
Get your look for less at the huge President's Sale at Slumberland.
I'm Erin. And I'm Margot. We've always done things our own way. Charted our own paths. I wasn't going to just back down from moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis. Psoriatic arthritis wasn't going to change who I am. When I learned that my joint pain could mean permanent joint damage, I asked about Enbrel. Enbrel helps relieve joint pain and helps stop permanent joint damage. Plus, Enbrel helps skin get clearer in psoriatic arthritis. Ask your doctor about Enbrel so you can get back to your true self. Enbrel may lower your ability to fight infections. Serious, sometimes fatal events, including infections, tuberculosis, lymphoma, other cancers, nervous system and blood disorders, and allergic reactions have occurred. Tell your doctor if you've been someplace where fungal infections are common, or if you're prone to infections, have cuts or sores, have had hepatitis B, have been treated for heart failure, or if you have persistent fever, bruising, bleeding, or paleness. Don't start Enbrel if you have an infection like the flu. Visit Enbrel.com to see how your joint damage could progress. Enbrel. Eligible patients may pay as little as $5 per month.
You're watching News Watch 12 today with Marissa Silvas, Peter Dubois, and Devin Biggs.
Good morning, and thanks for waking up with us today. It's Monday, February 15th. Last week, we told you about the man who drove over an overpass, fell 70 feet, and survived. And now he's speaking out about the incident.
Stephanie Haynes from our sister station in Milwaukee spoke with him to get his perspective.
I remember I hit the snow, and I'm like, oh, hopefully it hits the wall. And it just kept going, and my brain was like, uh-oh, that we're on a bridge. And I blacked out. And the next thing I remember, smelling the airbag in the truck.
He said he tried to crawl out the back of his truck, but 4 Good Samaritans immediately came running to help. Richard believes they helped save his life.
Just amazing people, because I see accidents all the time and people just drive right by and they don't care.
He's in a lot of pain, but he was able to sit up in a wheelchair for the first time Friday next to his fiancée Candace at Froedtert Hospital. He said doctors put 7 plates in his broken back and screwed his knee back together. He said he may be able to leave the hospital within the week, and he has seen the video.
My main thing, I personally believe if that that emergency lane would have been plowed to the barrier. I think the front of my truck would have slid into it. It would have grinded along it and stopped.
Surviving the crash has changed his life in so many ways. He knows recovery will be tough, but he's inspired to help others more and maybe bring awareness to his story.
I'm a real strong person. I do know that about myself, so I'm not going to give up.
My goodness, it's just so good to hear from him and also see him sitting up in the wheelchair, despite I'm sure it's going to be a long road to recovery. But that video of seeing that truck go over that bridge is just the most terrifying, shocking thing. And it's just incredible that he's alive.
It's great to see his spirits up. I mean, just plainly put, he's lucky to be alive, and certainly serves as a reminder to everyone to just be extra careful driving out there in the winter months.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Of course, with these frigid temperatures outside this morning, there are many school districts that have closed for the day. So schools like DC Everest and Merrill are doing a virtual learning day today. Other schools like Rib Lake, Rhinelander, and Northland Pines are closed completely.
And you can check out the full list. We have about 30 plus schools that are on there right now at WJFW.com, or just look at the crawl at the bottom of your screen to see what your district is doing today. And for anyone that does have to head out in the elements this morning, we got to talk about these frigid temperatures. So let's head right on over to our weather center, and Devin Biggs in for a first check of our forecast. And Devin, really, it looks kind of like the coldest morning that we've experienced so far this year, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt, the coldest morning we've seen, with temperatures 36 below. These are actual air temperatures this morning, so really cold outside with a very unusual setup. Let's just show you what's going on here. We have the radar where we're dry here, but we have snow in places where it doesn't usually snow, like, well, down into Texas. They're starting to wrap up, even into parts of Louisiana, too, so a very tough situation for them. But here's the big story for us, with wind chill warnings in effect. As we could see, wind chills near 40 below in some cases. Those will expire later on today, and some wind chill advisories also in effect for Adams County. But here are the air temperatures: 36 below in Tomahawk and in Phillips, 24 below in Rhinelander. Ouch, it's definitely painful when it's colder outside than what's in your freezer. And with wind chills, thankfully not too bad out there, but where you see that little orangish area, that's near 40 below wind chills out there, so it's a rough one out there this morning. But your hourly forecast, as you can tell, we're going to start warming up. It's going to take a little bit. We'll get close to 2 degrees by the afternoon period. Your full forecast is coming up.
Well, thanks, Devin. And the final scores are in, and the 45th annual fishery ended with some great catches. The largest northern was 32 inches, and the kids, they got outfished in every category, but they still put up quite the fight. Remember to submit your fishing photos on our website for a chance to make it on Newswatch 12's Big Old Fish.
A lot of brave fishermen and fisherwomen out there this weekend. Well, it has been quite chilly and snowy all over Wisconsin, but that didn't stop people from participating in the first ever United States Croaker Curl Championship in Altoona. 8 teams came to the new Croaker Curl rink. It's the first of its kind in the U.S., and it's similar to curling. Players try to get their team's rocks into the button or to get the team's rocks out of that playing surface.
The addition of Croaker Curl to River Prairie Park, it's huge. You know, it's another outlet to get people outside. You know, on a really cold day, it's -5 degrees right now. We have a really nice crowd, and people are out here excited to play.
Croaker Curl is a relatively new game created in Canada that combines aspects of curling and the board game Crokinole. So congratulations to the winners, Team Poplinski/Parks, who got to take home the United States Croaker Curl Championship belt. Very fun there. Definitely something to try.
I gotta say, it looks like a blast.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, we have some news you can use, including one cryptocurrency that continues to soar in value.
Plus, how around-the-clock communication is giving a boost to small businesses. We'll have those stories and more consumer news after this.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Ag Country Farm Credit Services.
Season after season, customers have found that when it comes to replacing their windows, there's only one company to call: Renewal by Andersen. Call today to schedule your free window diagnosis, because this incredible offer is only available for a limited time. Renewal by Andersen, the better way to a better window.
At WJFW, our News Watch 12 news team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the North Woods. Our team is committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. The News Watch 12 team works hard to deliver the most important stories from around the globe, local and national sports updates, and weather reports. We are NBC News Watch 12, news from where you live.
It's the huge President's Day sale going on now at Lakeland Furniture and Mattress in Minocqua and Anago. Get huge savings of 23% off our already low sale price during this sales event. Plus, get 1-year interest-free financing on all the top name brands, including Amish-made furniture. We have a great selection of in-stock mattresses all on sale with 23% off savings. So don't miss this President's Day sales event going on now at Lakeland Furniture and Mattress in Minocqua and Anago.
Mondays on News Watch 12 today features Mugshot Monday. But what exactly is Mugshot Monday?
It starts with the opportunity to win a 12-ounce bag of coffee, with the coffee being sourced from in between the tropics across the world, then brought in here to Eagle River Roasters and roasted to perfection.
Have a good day. And with that, you'll also win an Eagle River Roasters coffee mug, perfect for that first cup of coffee with your favorite morning crew.
Join us on Monday mornings to see this week's winner.
Register online at WJFW.com. Rachel Eiler and meteorologist Andrew Kiekefer bring you the local news and weather from the North Woods alongside the WJFW Weekend News Team. Watch Rachel and Andrew weekends at 10 p.m. on News Watch 12.
And welcome back. Another way to say it's cold outside, it's definitely cold when your freezer's warmer than the outside air, and that's definitely what we're seeing this morning with temperatures well below zero this morning, 24 below in Rhinelander, and it gets worse over in Phillips, where they're at 37 below this morning. Same with Mantua Waters, so this is definitely ouch territory this morning. So if you don't have to go outside, don't. Just stay inside and really kind of just enjoy the warm air because it's really chilly out there. Fortunately, not much of a wind, but where there is a wind, definitely a little bit more on the worst side, getting closer to 40 below, but pretty much the wind chills right now are pretty much what the air temperatures are. Thankfully, the winds have decided to give us a break. But where there is a wind, yeah, frostbite in the extreme category. Around 7 a.m., we can see frostbite dangerous near around 35 below wind chills, and we'll see things improving gradually throughout each morning as temperatures will be warming up too. With some good news in store, we got to get through today first with 2 degrees. Then we start improving. That's a 15 above, and then we're going to start working things up throughout the rest of the weekend And yes, that is a 28 degrees by Sunday, getting above average. We haven't said that in a while as we head towards Sunday, so that's going to feel like a heat wave by next weekend. But here we are with wind chill warnings in effect for everybody except Adams County under a wind chill advisory. Both of these will expire at noon today. I will not be surprised to see more advisories issued, but otherwise a calm morning, no cloud cover out there. It's really clear, allowing temperatures to really crash. So while we're quiet and cold, here's all the snow across the southern parts of the U.S. where they don't normally see this. So this is really tough situations for them, which is spanning all the way up towards the north and east too, with an unusual advisory setup too. Here we are, wind chill warnings all the way down into Texas and even farther south than that, and wind chill or in winter storm warnings from the southern parts of Texas all the way up towards the north and east. A very unusual pattern that we normally don't see for this time of the year. So most of the country really kind of in a rough situation, as again a lot of the snow where we don't normally see snow is starting to track off to the east, and some of it getting pretty heavy at times too, so definitely a traffic nightmare over in parts of the south. But here's futurecast for us today. Not too shabby. We'll have partly cloudy skies throughout the day today, and we'll pretty much repeat for a while with a mixture of clouds, sunshine, and some clear skies too, because really there's no snow in the forecast anytime soon, and things overall will be remaining pretty quiet as we'll only hit 2 degrees on this President's Day. Partly cloudy skies, wind chills near 40 below at times with that northwest wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, not bad like tonight, 12 below, partly cloudy skies, wind chills near 15 to 25 below with that northeast breeze, not too bad at around 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, we'll have a little bit of a breeze to start things off, but otherwise we'll make it to 15 above. That will feel nice with partly cloudy skies. The wind by the afternoon will begin to calm down. Here's the Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. Look at this, no precipitation in store for the next several days, at least not until Sunday, where there's a slight chance of snow, but temperatures warming up each and every day, making it into the 20s by the weekend.
Thanks, Devin. Bitcoin continues its stunning rise in the market.
This tops our look at consumer news this morning. On Sunday, the digital currency almost hit $50,000. And just in the last few months, it's more than doubled in value. Investors have sent its price skyrocketing during the pandemic as the Federal Reserve cut interest rates to near zero in March last year. That move weakened the U.S. dollar, and more companies are starting to open up to the cryptocurrency. Just last week, Tesla said it may soon accept it as payment for its cars. And MasterCard announced it will support select cryptocurrencies this year, making it Bitcoin's most mainstream major platform yet.
A Porsche sports car has set another record for speed, but this time it was indoors. The new record, set inside a convention center in New Orleans, is 102 miles per hour. That's an impressive speed on a short track, and it was set by a driver in the new Porsche Taycan Turbo S on Wednesday. It's an all-electric four-wheel drive car with 750 horsepower, which was key to maintaining grip on the convention center's slick concrete floor. The stunt broke the previous record by almost 14 miles per hour and is the 4th Guinness World Record for the legendary automaker.
And Chevy expanded its electric vehicle portfolio on Sunday with the all-new 2022 Bolt EUV. The Bolt electric utility vehicle has the body of an SUV, but it runs on the technology that made the Bolt EV the industry's first affordable long-range electric vehicle. Both are part of General Motors' plan to launch 30 new electric vehicles globally by 2025. The Bolt EUV will also be the first Chevrolet vehicle to offer Super Cruise, a hands-free driver assistance system for enabled roads. The 2022 Bolt EUV starts at $33,995.
Lots of progress being made there. Well, small businesses, of course, have taken a beating during the pandemic, and now business owners are doing everything they can to attract and retain customers.
For some, that means always being available, no matter the time or place. NBC's Chris Pallone has more.
Virginia business owner Buddy Smith has a job that's almost more important than the heating and air conditioning service his company provides, attracting and keeping customers.
People want what they want, and they want it now.
Today, customers want to call, text, email, or even send Facebook messages to businesses whenever they think about it from wherever they are.
I mean, research shows that 70% of consumers will buy from the first business that interacts with them.
Enter software companies like Freshline, which sell programs that can answer simple customer questions around the clock.
What our platform does is it brings all of those conversations and all of those messages into a single inbox.
Jay Bean came up with the idea after texting a plumber he had hired before, and the plumber never responded to him.
If they lack the fundamental need, the fundamental components that allow that consumer to interact with them wherever they are, whenever they're there, then they're missing out on 90% of the opportunity.
Buddy Smith says in the past, his customer service reps were great at answering and returning calls, but were not regularly checking all their social media channels and emails. Now, all messages come straight to them without having to log in to several separate services.
So they're on notice right away that there's someone that they need to respond to.
Owners are finding that investing in tools which make their customer service as accessible as the big boys can really pay off.
So it's nice to have technology and to have a third party help you through that process.
Meeting customers where they are, when they want, and how they want to talk to you. Good business in the age of COVID. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
We've set it up, so if someone wants to take over, everything is in place. We've got recipes, we've got procedures.
One long-standing Northwoods restaurant will transition to new ownership.
Coming up at 6, hear why the current owners are looking to preserve its history.
Handy Quilter has canceled their summer quilting shows and special events, so they have released a Tomahawk Sew and Vac popular long arm machines and frames with an additional $1,000 discount plus our store discount. The store will not be able to give this discount without Handy Quilter. These new machines come with our standard free delivery, setup, classes, 5 years free service, and 5-year annual tune-ups, a $600 value. Financing will be available, but inventory is very limited. When these units are gone, the additional savings go to
Stone Innovations, home of Wisconsin's largest granite and quartz selection, is now featuring the best stone shopping experience in the state. Our brand new indoor facility allows for a home-like, comfortable atmosphere. Choose from hand-picked stone from around the world and select the perfect look for your dream kitchen in the best lighting possible. Then sit down with our free design services to customize the look of your kitchen. Our projects come with a lifetime warranty. Stone Innovations, Wisconsin's granite and quartz leader. Appleton, Rhinelander, Clover, Madison.
Is skincare from around the world better than Olay? Olay Regenerist faced 131 premium products from 12 countries over 10 years. Olay's hydration was unbeaten every time. Face anything. Find out more at Olay.com.
Pampers, the #1 pediatrician recommended brand, helps keep baby's skin dry and healthy. So every touch is as comforting as the first. Pampers, the #1 pediatrician recommended brand.
Farming today doesn't always feel the same way it used to. Then again, some of it feels all the same. Maybe it isn't so much the jobs that changed, but how they get done. Now that's a different story. Efficiencies are critical, which is why you need a lender who will find the right loan structure for a strong financial future. You need a lender to look out for your whole farm operation. Ag Country. Experts in every field.
Since its inception 5 years ago, Incredible Bank Foundation and Incredible Bank employees and owners have donated nearly $1,250,000 to charities throughout the Minocqua and Eagle River area. But the truest measure of our support comes from our employees, who have contributed $4,000 in 5 short years to community organizations that better the lives of residents living in Minocqua and Eagle River. Incredible Bank, helping you start something incredible and finishing it.
Newswatch 12's Big Old Fish is brought to you by Kurt's Island Sports Shop in Minocqua.
Caught my limit. I see you only snagged one, huh? 2 fish are on there, you know.
Welcome to Antarctica. Man, how about this weather? Okay, enough small talk. Let's get to this week's Big Old Fish. First off this week, we have 6-year-old Alexis Croning of Hazelhurst. She got a new tip-up for her birthday and was excited to try it out. Well, when she got the opportunity, she caught this very nice 10-inch perch. And she was pumped to catch that big old perch on her very own tip-up. Way to go, Alexis, and keep on hauling them in. Next up, we have 7-year-old Jace Timmons from Arbor Vitae. Jace was fishing with his dad and Papa when he caught this stout 24-inch northern pike that obviously hadn't been skipping any meals. Way to go on catching a heck of a big old fish, and I hope you catch many more, Jace. And finally this week, we have 6-year-old Madeline Munt of Pickerel. They say it's not the size of the person fishing, but the size of the fight within that person. Well, Madeline has all that dialed in. It was her very first time ice fishing, and this northern pike didn't stand a chance. Way to go, Madeline, on an impressive and what I hope is the first of many big old fish that you catch. All right, fishermen and women, make sure to keep those trophy pictures coming. All the information you need to be in a future episode of Big Old Fish and win a Norling Taxidermy fish mount is on our website, WJFW.com. And remember, anglers, fish on.
And welcome back. For those of you that were watching us last week, we did some fun experiments for you. We're going to do a couple of those again today as we begin to wrap that up. One of those we're doing right now, the hot water trick. You really can't go wrong with those. I'm going to try to step out to the side so you can see that. And really you go. So plenty of vaporizing water going on as it goes up. Really evaporates and turns into a cloud. So we're seeing a lot of the stages of liquid turning into gas right away, courtesy of the cold temperatures with 30 below temperatures, and of course with the hot water going up into the air. So I also have a shirt outside too, and it's starting to freeze up already, and it's not completely frozen just yet, but this is only just after a few minutes as some water also evaporating. So let's show you your forecast right now here. Temperatures are chilly outside, 24 below in Rhinelander, 37 below in Phillips. Your travel forecast only making it into the low single digits today, with more sunshine and a few clouds at times too. Then down toward the south, still pretty chilly at times. A lot more coming up after the break.
Everyone sleeps at Tomahawk Furniture and Gun with prices so low you'll have to bend over to see them. Prices that'll make your eyes pop out. Want to sleep watching TV? Check out our recliners. You want to pass out face first in a sofa? Check out our sofas. And beds. We've got beds. Check us out. Prices so low you'll think we're crazy. Because everyone sleeps at Tomahawk Furniture and Gun.
We drive everywhere to help our son reach his dream of becoming an elite swimmer. So we enrolled in the Know Your Drive program with American Family Insurance. It gives us discounts for safe driving and other benefits, like emergency roadside service, which comes in handy, no matter where his dreams take him. With Know Your Drive, save up to 20% and get closer to your dreams. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Our local shelters have lots of furry friends in need of loving homes. Watch Newswatch 12 today, every Friday morning, to see a new cuddly cat or dog ready for you to adopt. Homeward Bound on Newswatch 12 today is sponsored by Paws and Claws. How many times have you searched the same thing? What to make for dinner, kid-friendly meals, easy party food. Stop searching and look no further than the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with new recipes every day on Newswatch 12 today and Newswatch 12 at 6. The Test Kitchen has you covered for every meal, snack, and craving. Now, how many ways can you say, "Ooh, it's so good"? Mr. Food Test Kitchen, brought to you by Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio and Golden Carrot Jewelers.
Head to Eagle River this weekend for the World Series of Snowmobile Racing. Check out derbycomplex.com for tickets and information.
You're watching Newswatch 12 today with Marissa Silvas, Peter Dubois, and Devin Biggs.
And welcome back. Check this out. Several inches of snow had fallen in Lubbock, Texas Sunday afternoon, with temperatures only reaching a high of 6 degrees. Sounds like northern Wisconsin, where winter storm warning was in effect until midnight last night. And along with the wind chill warning, it's still in effect, with wind chill values near -20. They were reported Sunday morning. Temperatures are expected to remain below freezing until Thursday afternoon. School delays and closings are expected for Monday, and residents are cautioned against being on the roadways. The majority of flights out of Lubbock International are canceled, and I am not surprised at all with this because it's a really unusual pattern to see this even making it down to the southern tip of Texas near Mexico, and usually it's warm down there. Not right now.
Exactly, not at all. You know, you guys know I'm from Texas originally, and so I had a ton of people, a lot of friends posting different videos and photos on Facebook when I woke up this morning of the snow and them doing snow angels and, you know, trying to enjoy it. But I also spoke to my brother yesterday, and he said that he's in San Antonio and said, like, the city was just shut down because, as we know, they're not used to this.
Right. It obviously is going to be causing a lot of issues for, you know, cities and just big areas down there. But also, you know, with those temperatures staying low, they're going to be able to kind of enjoy that snow and have a little bit of a break and extended snow day period.
Make a snowman and it'll stick. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, for us it's pretty much more of a cold day than anything else because we have snow on the ground, not much of it on the way, but it's definitely cold outside. But let's show you the map here. So around parts of Texas and Lubbock is around the northern panhandle area, and they're under wind chill advisory now. The advisories have been trimmed back to just a wind chill. The snow tracking off to the east in areas that don't normally see a lot of snow. So again, this is very unusual. That's spanning all the way up towards the north and east. So an exciting day for them. We're under wind chill warnings too. Let's zoom into our neck of the woods here. We're under wind chill warnings with Adams County under a wind chill advisory. Both of these will expire at noon today. Courtesy of temperatures like this, unfortunately, there isn't much of a wind chill. So what the temperatures are right now are what the wind chill is. And this is chilly outside this morning, and chilly might be an understatement. Maybe the word frigid might be better with temperatures near 37 below in Phillips. We'll only warm up to 2 degrees today. But hey, is this a warm up on the horizon? Yes, it is, with 15 degrees under partly cloudy skies Tuesday, and then 18 degrees mostly cloudy skies by Wednesday. So Marissa and Peter, finally, after a couple of weeks of putting up with this, and the sun's angle is getting higher, so it's going to work in our favor here. We're going to start seeing things improve for us.
Finally, yeah. I mean, it definitely has been a longer cold stretch than we're used to. So I know everyone's kind of really excited about even just those teens, or especially those 20s later on this week. But I'm really glad, too, though, that there's no wind chill today.
Yeah.
Right?
That would just cap it all off. But yeah, you know that it's been cold when temperatures in the teens sound pretty dang good. Well, thanks so much, Devin. And next on Newswatch 12 today, a local restaurant will be changing hands, and we'll hear from the current owners about their hopes for its future.
That's right. We'll have that story for you. Plus, we'll also learn about a local mountain biking organization's upcoming event. That's coming up in our next half hour. But first, you're waking up with Newswatch 12 today here on NBC.
All the serums out there, this is the #1 in America.
This is serious.
Revitalift Hyaluronic Acid Serum from L'Oreal. With our highest concentration of hyaluronic acid in the serum, it seriously hydrates to visibly replump skin in 1 week and reduces wrinkles for younger-looking skin. Powerful results validated by dermatologists and effective for all skin tones.
Bounce back.
Revitalift Hyaluronic Acid Serum from L'Oreal Paris.
We're worth it.
Did you know that 70% of the soils on your clothes are invisible? Under UV light, you see the invisible dirt trapped deep down. Try new Tide Pods Hygienic Clean Heavy Duty. For a deep clean, just toss in a pack. Formulated with 10 concentrated cleaning actives that clean deep down into the fabric to remove invisible dirt. See the difference? After being washed with Tide Hygienic Clean. For a deep clean, try Tide Hygienic Clean with a 100% money-back guarantee. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide.
It's my 410, no excuses on game day, migraine medicine. It's Ubrelvy for anytime, anywhere migraine strikes without worrying if it's too late or where I am. 1 dose of Ubrelvy works fast. It can quickly stop my migraine in its tracks within 2 hours, relieving pain and debilitating symptoms.
Do not take with strong CYP3A4 inhibitors. Most common side effects were nausea and tiredness.
Migraine hits hard. Hit back with Ubrelvy, the anytime, anywhere migraine medicine.
There are never enough hours in the day. I'm always making trade-offs, sacrifices. But I'll keep going. Even when it feels like there's no way I can do it all. I won't give up. I'm doing this for me and for them. We're doing this together. North Central Technical College's virtual college, flexible learning, because our time is precious.
Hi, I'm Dean Hoger with Miracle-Ear of Rhinelander. If you're struggling to hear your favorite news and entertainment shows, stop in and see me for a free hearing test.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, a local restaurant is ready and waiting for its next owner, and the current management wants to make sure it'll be left in good hands. We'll have more. Plus,
temperatures are very cold this morning, probably the coldest of the season so far, but a warm-up is on the way. Your full forecast is coming up.
And you can race a fat bike, zip line, and taste some of Wisconsin's beer this weekend at the Rip, Zip, and Sip in Minocqua. We'll learn about this one-of-a-kind winter event. It's Monday, February 15th.
Your local news and weather from where you live. Newswatch 12 today starts now.
good morning and thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Peter Dubois here with Marissa Silvas. With these frigid temperatures outside, there are many schools that have decided to close for the day.
That's right. We're up to about 30 or more on our list, and certain school districts like Wausau and Merrill schools, they're doing virtual only days today, while other schools such as Rib Lake, Rhinelander, and Northland Pines are closed completely. So you can check out our website, WJFW.com, or also the crawl right at the bottom of your screen to see what your district is doing today on this frigid day.
It really is so cold. Thankfully, though, we have a warm-up coming in the coming days, so we'll tell you more about that when we're heading over to our weather center right now with Devin Biggs in for a first check of our forecast. And Devin, really just, we got to make it through one more day of these pretty awful temperatures before things start to warm up for us a little bit.
Yeah, I think awful's putting it nicely there, Peter. It's just chilly outside this morning. I think even that's being lenient. We'll just use the word frigid this morning. There's just so many ways you could describe it, and I'm running out of ways to come up with new ways to describe this cold too. So let's just show you what's going on right now. It's just cold outside this morning, and snow where we normally don't see snow, like in Louisiana, and normally we don't see that. So that's kind of an interesting situation for them, where we're under wind chill warnings and a wind chill advisory for Adams County. And these alerts will expire at noon today. So we know what to do by this point. Just bundle up as you head out the door if you have to go. Otherwise, just stay inside, especially with temperatures like this. Ouch. 30 below in Eagle River, 36 below in Phillips, and also in Tomahawk. And fortunately, Not much of a wind chill, but where there is one, look at Mosinee, 39 below. And again, that's a wind chill, though, so that's what it feels like to us as we head out the door. Here's a remote learning forecast today. If you're doing it indoors, stay indoors today. We'll have sunshine and a few clouds, making it to 2 degrees by the afternoon period.
Thanks, Devin. Well, a restaurant in Three Lakes has been in business since 1934. Now it's up for sale after being run by the Biro family for the last 7 years. They're ready to move on, but they hope the community will keep its history going. Newswatch 12's Megan Mamlock has the details.
If you've been looking to jump into the restaurant business, Black Forest in Three Lakes is ready and waiting for its next new owner.
We've set it up, so if someone wants to take over, everything is in place. We've got recipes, we've got procedures.
Heather Biro and her husband made the difficult decision to put Black Forest Pub and Grill up for sale to focus on their family.
Taken the last 7 years to work out a lot of the kinks and get things that we know have been successful for us, so we would certainly pass that on to the next owner.
When asked if the pandemic had an effect on the business, they said they were only 10% down from 2019, which they credit to the locals ordering a lot of to-go orders.
Pandemic sort of challenged us. We didn't make the decision to put the restaurant up for sale until we knew we were through the worst of it, and we survived it.
The Biros know how important the small businesses are to the community, and they want to make sure it's in good hands.
Small communities depend on restaurants. We're the ones that hold events for small clubs and meetings. We're the ones that give items for raffles, and we volunteer and our staff pitches in so we can help this community thrive.
The owners hope that whoever takes over the business continues to treat it like family and incorporates the community.
It's meant to continue. It's got a rich, deep history, and we're going to make sure that continues and that this town has Black Forest for another 90 years.
For people interested in purchasing the Black Forest Pub and Grill, you can visit their website for contact information to Sunbelt Business Brokers. In Three Lakes, Megan Mamlock, Newswatch 12.
Certainly a lot of history there, and the restaurant will continue with its normal operating hours for dinner Wednesday through Sunday.
Taking you across the country this half hour. Starting today, New Yorkers with underlying health conditions can get the COVID-19 vaccine. That tops our look ahead for this Monday. And this comes after Governor Andrew Cuomo expanded eligibility requirements for COVID-19 vaccinations earlier this month. Those with underlying conditions were given the green light to start scheduling appointments at state-run sites on Sunday. And today will be the first day that they can get shots. Among those eligible are people with cancer, heart conditions, kidney or liver disease, diabetes, and other conditions. In order to be vaccinated, people will have to provide a doctor's letter, a signed certification, or other medical information showing that they have an eligible health condition. Well, coming up next on Newswatch 12 today, the Lakeland Area Mountain Biking Organization wants you to join them for some winter fun.
After the break, we'll learn all about the upcoming RIP, ZIP, and SIP event. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
Wausau Child Care is a community-driven organization specializing in quality care for children. Wausau Child Care provides a loving environment for your child and has flexible hours to work around your schedule. Your children come first, and that includes safety and security. Our staff regularly ensures that both the children and their environment are safe and nurturing. Wausau Child Care Inc. has 3 locations and several nationally accredited programs, fostering growth for the children we serve.
Olson Solar Energy wants you to know that there's a lot to consider when you think about solar energy. Consider a lower or no energy bill. There's a federal tax credit as well as other rebates and incentives to consider. You may not have considered that a solar energy system increases property value without increasing property taxes and works for homes and businesses. Isn't it time to consider a free evaluation? Call 579-0474 or go to olsonsolarenergy.com.
Hi, my name's Chad. I went and saw a neurologist and had several MRIs, and they found out that I had spinal neuropathy. The neurologist at the hospital decided that the only treatment was medication. I didn't find that acceptable, so I called Spinal Aid to get a free consultation. After working with Spinal Aid, I'm able to walk, I'm able to sleep, I have balance, my overall comfort of life is 100% better.
Are you experiencing weakness, numbness, and/or pain in your feet or hands? These sensations might even be affecting other areas of your body along with your balance. You might have already been diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy and are taking drugs such as Lyrica, gabapentin, or Cymbalta that never seems to help. Neuropathy pain ultimately diminishes your quality of life. The Spinal Aid Center of Wausau can help relieve the symptoms of your neuropathy. Call Spinal Aid of Wausau today to see if our treatment methods are right for you. Call 715-203-1508 to schedule your neuropathy severity consultation.
And well, how do we feel about this? Most of you would probably say it's too cold outside. Some of you probably enjoy it, but at this point, I'm just saying I've had enough of this. The ice fishing, or I should say the lakes are really well thick, but the problem definitely is it's just too cold outside at this point. So let's hope we can get some warm temperatures going soon. But here we are right now, 36 below in Phillips, 27 below in Rhinelander, 30 below in Eagle River. So needless to say, it is cold outside this morning. There is a little bit of a breeze out there, but not too bad at around 3 to 5 miles per hour. Which is giving us wind chills close to 40 below in Mosinee. So again, this is the big definition of ouch right there. So if you don't have to go outside, don't, because wind chills are dangerous today. If you do have to go outside, whether you are ice fishing or you're doing some snowmobiling, you know what to do by this point. Just make sure to bundle up as you head out for those activities, so that way you don't get frostbite very quickly, because that can happen very quickly in wind chills like this and temperatures like this too. But some good news on the way for those of you that love some warmer temperatures. We're going to do middle to upper teens by Tuesday and Wednesday, then warming things back up into the lower 20s by the weekend. And yes, that is at 28 degrees by Sunday. So from very cold to almost a heat wave at this point. We'll actually be a couple degrees above average as we head towards Sunday. So we haven't done that in a while, and that will definitely feel pretty nice. But meanwhile, this morning, wind chill warnings, wind chill advisories in effect for us and down toward the south through basically everybody. Unfortunately, it's quiet though, no snow falling, and just a few clouds off parts of Lake Superior, but the ice really thickening up on the Great Lakes courtesy of this cold spell and cold weather that's way down where it should be for this time of the year across parts of Louisiana and down toward the southern states too, where winter storm warnings are also in effect. And look at all these warnings here with wind chill warnings in this shaded area right here. This area right here is under wind chill advisories, and the pink area under winter storm warnings all the way up towards the northeastern states. So a lot going on in the weather department nationwide this morning with a very unusual setup. And again, snow where it shouldn't be for this time of the year, down across parts of Louisiana, moving off toward the east. So they will definitely have to watch it. Traffic will be a nightmare for them. So here's Futurecast for us today. A really kind of a broken record. So we'll have partly cloudy today, we'll have partly cloudy tonight, and partly cloudy for the next few days too. We'll just have really kind of just some breaks of clear skies and some partly cloudy skies too. As the weather overall will be remaining quiet, as temperatures will be warming up too. So there's definitely some good news on the way in the temperature department. But for today though, yeah, not so much. 2 degrees, partly cloudy skies, wind chills near 30 to 40 below at times, courtesy of that northwest wind only at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking ahead towards tonight, 12 below, partly cloudy skies, wind chills again hitting 15 to 25 below, so not as bad. We'll have a light northeast breeze at around 5 miles per hour. And the winds will continue to calm down as we head towards Tuesday, 15 above. This will feel nice, partly cloudy skies. And again, some wind chills still at times, so you know what to do. Just make sure to bundle up as you head out the door. Here's the Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. So here we are. So we calm things down pretty much for the entire week with partly to mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the lower 20s. And yes, at 28 degrees, a slight chance of snow by Sunday. Marissa?
One local group that seems to keep just as busy in the winter as in the summer is the Lakeland Area Mountain Bike Organization. And here this morning to fill us in on their latest event is Sylvia, the Lambeau president. Good morning to you, Sylvia.
Good morning. Thanks for having me today.
Of course, I'm so excited to learn about this. So we want to know what's happening this month. And it sounds like a lot more than just a fat bike race. And the name of the event alone is just lots of fun.
Yes, we are super excited about this. This is the biggest local fat bike race that we host, and it is called the Rip, Zip, and Sip in its 6th year. And yes, there's 3 portions to it, so it's more than just a fat bike race. The Rip portion is the fat bike race. We have a 7K course and a 21-kilometer course that takes advantage of the flowy, fun trails that we have here at the Zip just south of Minocqua. The Zip portion is that the trailhead is right by Northwood Zip Line, and they've graciously donated free zip line rides from the tower in the parking lot that goes to their home base right there. And again, that's right by our trailhead, right by the kiosk, right by the event. And so the option is for both participants and spectators to take part in that. And then the sip portion is we're offering some fantastic Wisconsin beer from our friends here at Hinterland Brewery. They'll be donating beer for the event. So we have a Rip, Zip, and Sip event, and it's just a fun event both for participants and spectators. And we even have pretty fantastic handmade awards this year for best overall, both for the 7K and the 21K for men and women. So some really unique handmade trophies that we're super excited about this year.
Both the race part and then also the zip part sound just like such a thrill. And then the sip part with Hinterland, I lived in Green Bay for a little bit, so I know all about Hinterland Brewery, and it's just delicious. So what a blast. And I know you also mentioned, Sylvia, that people could watch the zip line part, but we want to know, is this something that's really only for the mountain bike racers, or would other people enjoy being out there to see everything?
The areas that we're racing in, there's a lot of spaces for spectators and families to come and hang out. We have a pretty tough climb in one section where people can spread out over the hill and cheer on the racers. We encourage people to ring bells and noisemakers and really have a go at it to really, cheer them on, because it gets tough, when you're racing that hard out in the winter. But what I really want to call out, that not only is it for mountain bikers and racers and spectators, but this is really something that's not to participate in the event. It's not just for mountain bike racers. Like something that's just different with fat bike racing in the snow is that it's just a different world than mountain bike racing, and it's something that's really open to just about anyone, any experience level. So it's a really fun first-time event for just about anyone.
Of course, and you guys are just so welcoming in general, which I really appreciate. It really sounds like you want more and more people to keep taking part and keep learning about it so that you can share your love, which is so important.
Yes.
Sure. All right, so you also have the drawing for your annual fundraiser, which has a pretty fantastic first prize. So can you tell us more about that?
Chequamegon Adventure Company graciously donates a fat bike every year for this raffle, and I have it right here. This is actually the winning prize, the #1 prize. It's a giant Yukon 2 fat bike. It is ready to take on the trails. It's perfect for these snow conditions, and it's worth about $1,600. So it's a good quality bike. But we also have a 3-night getaway, cabin stay at Spider Lake. We have gift certificates from Imaginuity and Marty's Up North. And Hiker Box in Eagle River graciously donated one of those really big rugged coolers for us to give away. So the drawing is at the Rip, Zip, and Sip at 3 o'clock, but tickets are still available.
All right, well, Sylvia, for some more information on Rip, Zip, and Sip, where are the best places for people to go?
Best places, we have it on our website, of course, lamboriders.org. And we also have a Facebook page that keeps up to date with all the updates, even our group rides and opportunities just to come out to the trail and check it out. And that is Lambo Riders.
We really appreciate all the information, and it just sounds like a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Looks like such a great time, and what better way to cap it off than with some local beer? Lambo has made some COVID adjustments in order to make that event safe for everyone. You can contact them for more details. And coming up, we have What's Trending, including some sheriffs who help spread the love this Valentine's Day. Plus, when Grandpa puts his skills to the test to build this giant ice carousel. We'll take a closer look up next in What's Trending.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Eagle Floor Covering on Twilight Lane, Eagle River.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basement-y company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basement-y in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
You have found your soulmate. Now it's time to find the perfect ring. At Golden Carat Jewelers, you can choose from an extensive selection of engagement and wedding rings. Fresh designs reflecting the most current trends, from organic, art deco, and vintage design to timeless classics in white, yellow, and rose gold. See the new Romance Collection, Lyria and Lumiere Bridal Collections, and new styles from Gabriel New York, Eskashi, and more. Engagements begin here. Will yours? Golden Carat Jewelers, downtown Minocqua.
It's time for the ultimate Sleep Number event on the Sleep Number 360 smart bed. You can both adjust your comfort with your Sleep Number setting.
Can it help me fall asleep faster?
Yes, by gently warming your feet.
But can it help keep me asleep?
Absolutely. It intelligently senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you both effortlessly comfortable.
Will it help me come out swinging?
You got this.
So you can really promise better sleep.
Not promise, prove. Don't miss our President's Day weekend special. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus 0% interest for 36 months and free premium delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday.
At R&R Flooring and Furniture, we sell products that look good and products that last.
A family-owned company that's built our business on customer service and standing behind the products we sell. You'll find Wolfcraft, Lang, Franklin, and more.
Looking to get the best sleep of your life? We have a mattress for you. Get a 15-year non-paraded hybrid mattress for 25 cents a night or less. And we also carry adjustable beds. When it comes to flooring, furniture, and mattresses, it's easy. Come to R&R Flooring and Furniture today. That's all it takes.
What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so excited. I just can't wait for summer.
Can't wait to get on the water and want a private shopping experience to start planning your summer weekends? Then go to our website and book your VIP tour with American Marine and Motorsports in Shawano. Get first crack at the lowest prices anywhere, and we're matching deposits up to $1,000 on select products. Don't get left out in the cold. Book your VIP private shopping experience at American Marine now.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Ag Country Farm Credit Services.
It's about 6:15 and time now for What's Trending. And we hope that everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day. But if you wanted to show a certain ex that you're not at all bitter about that horrible breakup, well, some police departments were offering to help. Check this out. Sheriffs in North Carolina's Nash County and Florida's Nassau County created some Facebook posts asking people to turn in ex-loves with outstanding warrants. Yes, one post offers limited edition platinum bracelets, a free transportation with a chauffeur, a one-night minimum stay in luxurious accommodations, and a special Valentine's dinner. And these departments promise to make the surprise special for that certain someone. Police in Middletown, Ohio are also offering a similar special. They're topping theirs with non-smoking rooms and free laundry services. They also promise to keep your former Valentine safe with 24-hour security and video surveillance. And this is a new one, you guys. You know, we've been talking all about different ways to celebrate Valentine's Day and also different things you could do, you know, as far as your ex goes, you know, whether it was naming a beetle or a snake or something after your ex or all that kind of stuff. But this is certainly a unique one, and I think it's completely hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's really funny when, you know, police departments, sheriff's offices kind of get in on the fun a little bit around holidays, and it's, you know, it's also a good way to kind of, you know, promote their own stations and stuff like that. But I'd be interested if anyone actually seriously partake.
Yeah,
in this.
you gotta know.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh, too funny to say the least. And this is definitely a very creative way. I mean, to get some not so good people off the street that have outstanding warrants, and a very good humorous way. I'm almost curious to see who thought of this, but hey, well done to the police department. Good way to get a good laugh going from many, and hopefully it did its job too and got some people off the streets.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly not cold at all like this next story here. A massive snowmobile race is underway in Alaska right now. It's longer than driving from New York to Las Vegas. The 2021 Iron Dog race started in Big Lake on Saturday. That's north of Anchorage. 23 teams are on this 2,645-mile-long journey through Alaska's interior. This year's race is the longest in its history. Participants were tested for COVID before the race began, and they'll be tested again at 2 points along the way. So if someone does test positive, there are several what they're calling Rona riders on standby to help that team finish the race. The Iron Dog is expected to take a week, and it's ending next Saturday back in Big Lake. You guys, I've had a few snowmobiles experiences. The longest time I was out was basically like overnight one night here in the Northwoods, basically about 20 hours on a snowmobile with my dad, and you know, it got really, really cold. I could only imagine basically doing that for an entire week long, but pretty incredible.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they had this. You know, of course, we always hear about the Iditarod and the sled dog races that happen up there, so I wonder if they actually take kind of a similar path or similar trails, but that is a very long journey, and I'm sure it's a thrill, though.
Yeah. Must be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'm really creative to see that they're testing people for COVID very frequently, and honestly smart too. Don't need to spread that virus anymore that's already spread. And yeah, very smart. And snowmobiling popular up here with the Eagle River races too. This is pretty much that on a larger scale. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, we love of course, the Derby races are amazing, but that's more focused on speed, and like a shorter race. This one is just massive and a very long length for them. So I'm sure tiring, exhausting too, right?
When do they sleep, right?
Right.
Yeah, when do they sleep? And this next story, also exhausting. A clever European grandfather built a Valentine's Day treat for his grandkids, a floating carousel made of ice. The granddad lives in Estonia near the Baltic Sea. A lake there is frozen over and the ice is thick. So Hans Ale got the idea to cut the ice in a circle, attach a small outboard motor, and make it spin. The ice carousel is 39 feet across and weighs, he says, 24 tons. Ale said it wasn't complicated to build, but required patience. He said he wanted to create something to get his grandchildren outdoors and off the computer. And by the look of things, the scheme worked. Ale has to remake part of the carousel every day because below freezing temperatures cause the part made of water to freeze overnight. So that is very smart and very creative there, and it looks like a lot of hand labor there to be able to build that. But you know what a good way to have some fun with Mother Nature.
I think that it's brilliant. I love that the grandfather wanted to get the kids out of the house, and not only did he get them out of the house, but he has them working too, right? Like he wasn't just like making this for them, he put them to the test too, and that's fascinating to see, just see it spinning around. That's too cool.
I know, and actually I looked it up just to kind of get some more information on this before the show, and apparently there's like tutorials out there on how to make your own. It looks like a lot of fun. I wonder what would happen if you like got a couple people on them and kind of ran around in a circle, if you could get it spinning really fast.
Right? Yeah.
Well, that would be funny. It makes me think of a record player when someone does something like that. So that would be pretty funny too. But meanwhile, speaking of weather, it is cold outside today with many school closings, 36 school closings listed on our website. Make sure to check those out. But temperatures will be warming up to the 18 degrees by Wednesday. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Okay, everyone, our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
Furniture and Mattress USA in Antigo. We have the inventory and we know how to use it. Furniture and Mattress USA has the largest Lazy Boy comfort studio in the Northwoods. Don't order a recliner, buy a recliner and bring it home today. We have a large selection of mattress options in stock with more inventory arriving weekly. Extra soft to extra firm, we have the size and the style you're looking for. Don't order a mattress, buy a mattress and bring it home today. For furniture and mattresses, come to Furniture and Mattress USA in Antigo.
I embrace getting older. I'm so much more confident now, but I don't love that as I age, I could develop gum issues.
New Colgate Renewal reverses early gum damage for a beautiful, revitalized smile.
I can't wait to see what comes next.
Reverse early gum damage with new Colgate Renewal.
Over 6,550 people have died of COVID-19 in Wisconsin. Over 90% of Wisconsinites have not yet received the vaccine. Every sane doctor in the world agrees that wearing a mask saves lives. Assemblyman Rob Swearingen just voted to end Wisconsin's mask mandate. He is playing politics with our lives. Paid for by the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC.
Head to Eagle River this weekend for the World Series of Snowmobile Racing. Check out derbycomplex.com for tickets and information.
At WJFW, our Newswatch 12 news team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the Northwoods. Our team is committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. NBC Newswatch 12, news from where you live.
And welcome back. Mother Nature must have knew we were going to wrap up our experiments today with a review. So we have boiling water here, frozen t-shirt here. We did a lot of other experiments throughout the week last week too. We're going to do the frozen water trick for you again. So as I step aside and give you that nice little view again, and look at this, the steam almost changes colors as it goes up into the air too. It immediately turns from that liquid up into a gas as it goes up into the atmosphere. And the other one too, here's the trick too, frozen solid t-shirt. And it started freezing up very quickly as soon as it came outside too, so very chilly outside this morning. With temperatures, let's show you those right now. And well below zero, 27 below in Rhinelander, 36 below in Phillips. So you get the idea, it's cold outside today. It will warm up only to the lower single digits today on your travel forecast. That'll also be the case for us too under partly cloudy skies this afternoon and down toward the south. Here we go. We'll be seeing temperatures near 12 degrees in Milwaukee. We did not have a birthday club winner today, but you can enter. Let's show you how.
What does it mean to fight for what's right? And who decides what's right? Is it right for an insurance adjuster to try to get you to settle for less than you deserve? Is it right to let victims struggle to pay their medical bills? To us, it means helping accident victims get their lives back to normal again. It means doing what's right for you. Habish, and Rotier. We fight for what's right.
At Lenz Truck, we've made the buying experience fast and easy. All our trucks are guaranteed clean, certified, can be bought hassle-free online, and can be delivered right to your door. It's our way of saying thanks to our past and future customers for the last 35 years. And when you buy a Lenz truck, know that you're buying the best used truck money can buy. Go now to lenztruck.com. You'll find over 800 used trucks, all priced to move. Go now to lenztruck.com.
Lenz Truck. There's an invisible threat in your backyard that could cause deadly heartworm disease for your dog. But not if you protect him every month with HeartGuard Plus, the #1 choice of dogs. Digestive and neurological side effects have rarely been reported. Ask your vet for HeartGuard Plus.
Kippenhahn Accounting and Tax Services has been serving clients for 28 years and now has a new location in Wausau. Clients are treated as a partnership with close personal attention. That's what CPA stands for. Kippenhahn Accounting and Tax Services, working to make your life less taxing.
It's the huge President's Day sale going on now at Lakeland Furniture and Mattress in Minocqua and Anago. Get huge savings of 23% off our already low sale price during this sales event. Plus, get 1-year interest-free financing on all the top name brands, including Amish-made furniture. We have a great selection of in-stock mattresses, all on sale with 23% off savings. So don't miss this President's Day sales event going on now at Lakeland Furniture and Mattress in Minocqua and Anago.
Since its inception 5 years ago, Incredible Bank Foundation and Incredible Bank employees and owners have donated nearly $1,250,000 to charities throughout the Minocqua and Eagle River area. But the truest measure of our support comes from our employees, who have contributed 4,000 hours in 5 short years to community organizations that better the lives of residents living in Minocqua and Eagle River. Incredible Bank, helping you start something incredible and finishing it.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, the Wisconsin DNR says it'll propose a harvest quota of 200 wolves when the group's policy board meets today to discuss an early hunt. We'll explain. Plus,
temperatures are very cold enough to do some fun weather experience, but be careful if you're doing that. But we'll have your full forecast coming up.
We know that it's possible to reopen schools safely without all of the teachers being vaccinated.
And after the impeachment trial, President Biden and his COVID advisory panel are focused on moving forward with reopening schools, getting vaccinations out to the public, and relief to the American people. It's Monday, February 15th.
Your local news and weather from where you live. Newswatch 12 today starts now.
In Washington, lawmakers are taking a break between impeachment and COVID relief, publicly reacting to the weekend acquittal of former President Trump and privately working to get $1,400 stimulus payments in your hands.
NBC's Tracy Potts has our report this morning from Washington.
The U.S. Senate is taking a break this week, considering the fallout of acquitting former President Trump and where that leaves the Republican Party.
We need to unite the party. Trump plus is the way back in 2022.
I think our leadership will be different going forward.
Democrats now turning to COVID relief, writing up details for a vote next week.
If a month from now,
as unemployment checks are at the verge of stopping for 10 million Americans, we can proceed with a Democrat-only bill.
Their proposal includes billions for schools, which the CDC says should be spent on ventilation. The agency says that, plus wearing masks and vaccinating teachers, should get kids safely back to class.
We know that it's possible to reopen schools safely without all of the teachers being vaccinated.
Vice President Harris tells HBO the administration was left with no national strategy.
We're starting from scratch on something that's been raging for almost an entire year.
The U.S. is now halfway to President Biden's goal of 100 million vaccinations in 100 days. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
And back in our area with the frigid weather outside, we have a lot of school closings for the day. I think we're up to 36 on our list right now.
That's right. D.C. Everest and Merrill schools are doing virtual learning days today, while other schools like Rib Lake, Rhinelander, and Northland Pines are completely closed. And of course, you can check out our website, WJFW.com, or look at the crawl on the bottom of your screen to see what your district is doing for the day. But, but all week, this past week, we've had all these delays, closures, and it's all really been because of these frigid temperatures, Marissa.
Exactly, and it sounds like today is the coldest morning yet, if you can believe that. So for more on what to expect, let's head right on over to our weather center, and Devin Biggs in for a first check of our forecast. And Devin, those temperatures are really nothing to mess around about at all.
Yeah, that's why the Weather Service has issued a wind chill warning this morning, because we can see wind chills hitting 40 below, and just air temperatures alone just brutal this morning. Let's show you the setup, a very unusual setup where we have snow in Louisiana. That is rare to have that happening, and most of Texas seeing plenty of snow too. But here's the story for us with wind chill warnings in effect until noon today, and wind chill advisories up for Adams County. That will expire at around noon today too, before more advisories do get issued. But here we are, actual air temperatures: 37 below, 30 in Tomahawk, 36 below in Phillips. A little better in Land O'Lakes at 19 below, but long story short, you get the idea. It is cold out there, and with a little bit of a wind chill, here's Mosinee close to 40 below. So again, just a big ouch out there today. But here's your hourly forecast for today. We will warm things up, hitting 0 degrees by 1 p.m. Your full forecast coming up.
On Saturday, we reported a fatal crash in Three Lakes where a man was struck by a vehicle that he was trying to help get out of a ditch. Officials have now updated us on that incident. Authorities released the names involved in that crash: 59-year-old George E. Steinhaus, who was pronounced dead at the scene, and 29-year-old Samuel E. Steinhaus, who was the operator of the vehicle. The 29-year-old has been arrested on charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle, third offense operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or drugs, operation of a motor vehicle after revocation, and failure to install ignition interlock device. The crash is still under investigation.
The State Department of Natural Resources says it'll propose a harvest quota of 200 wolves when the group's policy board meets today to discuss launching a wolf hunt immediately. The Journal-Sentinel reports the agency considered several factors in coming up with that number. Those include the most recent population estimate, the public response to earlier harvests, the current management plan, and other research. Wisconsin law mandates the DNR run a wolf season from November through the end of February. However, Republican lawmakers demanded the impromptu start because they're worried that President Joe Biden will restore protections for the animals. Federal wildlife officials in January removed wolves in the lower 48 states from the federal endangered species list.
Well, over the weekend and across the state, Wisconsin DHS reported 1,265 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. On Saturday, the department reporting 752 new cases with 10 new deaths. Saturday's percent positive was around 16.7%. And on Sunday, DHS reported 503 new cases with just 1 new death. Sunday's percent positive rate fell from Saturday to 12%. The state's death toll now sits at 6,162. There are currently more than 11,000 active cases, with more than 537,000 people that have been listed as recovered.
Governor Tony Evers has proposed $100 million for a new venture capital fund. Now, what does that mean for small businesses? Well, this capital fund will help startups and small businesses that have been hurt by the pandemic. This budget will include $10 million to promote entrepreneurship in underserved communities, including minority and women-owned businesses. $10 million for a new program with the Department of Workforce Development to help overcome barriers to meaningful employment, and then $8 million for pandemic recovery. Evers says, quote, "Our state will bounce back and be better than before by helping people recover from this pandemic while investing in new innovation and startups."
Kenosha County officials say they're cracking down on Illinois residents who have crossed into Wisconsin to get the COVID-19 vaccine. County officials say the vaccination clinics are for Kenosha County residents aged 65 and older, or for people in certain categories who live or work in the county. Now, their comments come a day after a woman contacted the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel to report that some family members in the Chicago suburbs who don't work in Wisconsin were able to get the vaccine in Kenosha County.
A commemoration ceremony was held on Sunday in honor of the Parkland shooting victims, and this tops our news making national headlines this morning. 14 students and 3 educators were shot and killed when a lone gunman entered Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida on February 14th, 2018. The city of Parkland hosted the event as a day of love and remembrance. Various faith leaders spoke and said prayers, and the names of the victims were also read. The event is accompanied by a service project. This year, a fundraiser was held to help build homes in Honduras. The gunman, who was 19 at the time of the shooting, faces the death penalty.
New York City subway stations are sent into high alert after multiple stabbings in recent days. The NYPD says the first attack happened just before noon on Friday. That's when a 67-year-old man was stabbed at an Upper Manhattan subway station. Friday night, another man was found dead at a station in Queens with stab wounds to his neck and chest. Just hours later in Upper Manhattan, a 44-year-old woman was found suffering from stab wounds. She later died at a hospital. And around the same time, a fourth victim, a 43-year-old man, was also found stabbed at the same location as the first victim. Each of the stabbings have occurred along the city's A-line. Authorities are investigating whether one person is responsible for all 4 stabbings. The NYPD on Saturday said it was ramping up patrol within subway stations. Officials believe all 4 victims were homeless.
Icy conditions caused a massive 21-car pileup on an interstate on Saturday in Nashville. It happened early in the morning on Interstate 24 and shut down traffic in both directions for hours. Police say at least half a dozen people suffered minor injuries and 15 vehicles needed to be towed. A major winter storm is currently hitting the Nashville area, but it is expected to let up today as it's bringing in more ice and snow to the region.
And coming up next in sports, our Griffin Stroin will join us for Bucks and Badgers highlights.
That's right. Plus, the Lakeland boys hockey team, they are making history on their way to the state semifinals.
And temperatures are really chilly outside with wind chills near 30 below. We'll have your full forecast coming up in a little bit.
It's President's Day, and we're celebrating with a few presidential favorites. Any guesses as to what we're making?
Always something new and delicious at CT's Deli downtown Rhinelander. Now featuring an afternoon delight appetizer menu and signature cocktails. Wednesday barbecue ribbon chicken night is back. Made fresh, grab and go food and salad bar. Visit ChefTom'sDeli.com.
Stop into Menards and get everything you need for your vehicles. Menards has a great selection of batteries, antifreeze, cleaners, wiper blades, and more to keep your vehicles in great shape. Check out our great selection of motor oil from top brands that keep your car running smoothly all year round. Shell Clean Engine Motor Oil provides value and performance in a trusted brand. Only $1.99 per quart. Now during Menards Race to Savings Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
The unknown is not empty. It's a storm that crashes and consumes, replacing thought with worry. But one thing can calm uncertainty: an answer. Uncovered through exploration, teamwork, and innovation. An answer that leads to even more answers. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
Wausau Child Care is a community-driven organization specializing in quality care for children. Wausau Child Care provides a loving environment for your child and has flexible hours to work around your schedule. Your children come first, and that includes safety and security. Our staff regularly ensures that both the children and their environment are safe and nurturing. Wausau Child Care Inc. has 3 locations and several nationally credited programs, fostering growth for the children we serve.
Always something new and delicious at CT's Deli downtown Rhinelander. Now featuring an afternoon delight appetizer menu and signature cocktails. Wednesday barbecue ribbon chicken night is back. Made fresh grab and go food and salad bar. Visit cheftomsdeli.com.
And welcome back. Here we are. So temperatures cold outside again today. There's really a many ways you can say it, but I'm almost running out of ways to say it. This is really frigid outside, 36 below in International Falls, and also cold here where it's 27 below in Rhinelander. But here we are. We're about like International Falls, 36 below in Phillips, 36 below in Manitowish-Waters. So long story short, very cold outside this morning, and with a little bit of a wind out of the northwest at around 5, maybe 10 miles per hour in a few areas. It's feeling colder outside with wind chills near 39 below in Mosinee. In areas of the north, look at this. Manitowish-Waters is still pretty chilly too. So we are watching really chilly wind chills this morning. But here we are. So wind chills very extreme. They're going to be extreme over the next few mornings, but they are going to improve. So just give it some time. We're going to get this cold stretch out of here as we're going to warm up into the teens and even 20s. That will feel pretty nice before making it up to 28 degrees by Sunday, above our average high of 26 degrees. So we had to wait a little bit, but some nice weather is on the way. Comfortable enough to finally do some activities outside for those of you just waiting for this cold stretch to get out of here. But here we are, wind chill warnings in effect for the counties highlighted here in this darker shade of blue. Then down toward this area, it's another shade of blue with wind chill advisories that are in effect. So here we are. So radar right now, fortunately nothing going on there, and no clouds moving through either. But meanwhile, down toward the southern parts of the U.S., we are watching a very weird setup with snow across the southern parts of the state. Definitely unusual. And so are the advisory setup with wind chill warnings from the northern parts of the state all the way down toward close to the Mexico border. That is very unusual, with winter storm warnings from the southern parts of Texas all the way up toward the north and east. So that just tells you just how big the system is that's moving through. And then, of course, a closer look at the snow right here. Well, definitely very unusual to see snow in Louisiana that's tracking off for the east. So travel will be a nightmare for them, for those that are not used to it. So here's Futurecast for today. Overall, just a mixture of clouds and sun overall today. And that'll be the theme over the next several days, too, as we'll be waiting again for just some precipitation to move through, but we have to wait a few more days for that to happen. But otherwise, Futurecast kind of on this repeat pattern here. Some sun, some clouds, some clear skies. You get it. We have a mixture of everything that will be moving through. And temperatures, finally some good news in that department. They will be rebounding. But on this President's Day, chilly outside, 2 degrees, partly cloudy skies, wind chills near 30 to 40 below. With that northwest wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, okay, not too bad. 12 below, partly cloudy skies, wind chills getting down to 25 below, courtesy of that northeast breeze at around 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, okay, this is a lot better. 15 degrees above zero, partly cloudy skies. Wind chills again near 25 below earlier on in the day. The wind will be going calm soon, but any breeze you get could still feel a little chilly at times. But this 15 degrees will be a lot better. And it gets better from here. Your Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast warming up. Here we are finally into the lower 20s, which is still below freezing, so we'll keep the snow and the ice sticking around. But snow starts to move in as we head towards Sunday. Marissa?
Light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you so much, Devin. Well, the 2021 NASCAR season began yesterday with the 63rd annual Daytona 500. Alex Bowman started on the pole. However, he was involved in a crash on lap 14 that ended his day. And then the race was delayed for nearly 6 hours because of weather in the area. After the final pit stop, Joey Logano was in the lead, and he held that lead going into the final lap, but he was spun out by his teammate Brad Keselowski, and that resulted in a huge wreck. So underdog Michael McDowell was in the right place at the right time. He came out in front when the caution came out, and he collects his first career win. NASCAR will stay at Daytona for next week's race. However, they'll be running on the infield road course. Well, both the Bucks and the Badgers were also in action yesterday, and one local boys hockey team will be competing for a shot at a state championship. Our sports reporter Griffin Stroyne has more.
Looking ahead at the sports schedule, local athletes are reaching the final stretches of their seasons. But they're not alone. The Wisconsin men's basketball team is hitting a gauntlet against tough Big Ten opponents, and it all started yesterday. Wisconsin hosting the third-ranked Michigan Wolverines, and the Badgers looked like the better team early on. Aleem Ford spots up and knocks down the long-range three. Wisconsin had a 12-point lead at halftime, but Michigan would come roaring back in the second half. Franz Wagner buries the triple here, and the Wolverines made this a 3-point game, and they kept imposing their will. Final minute of this one, Wagner drives strong to the rim, a tough finish over Tyler Wall, and Wisconsin suffers a brutal home loss, 67-59, the final. Bucks were also on the road taking on the Thunder. Third quarter, Bobby Portis Jr., what a pickup he's been for the Bucks, squares up and hits the jumper to put Milwaukee up 1. They scored 40 points in the third quarter, but it was a completely different story in the fourth. I'll continue to say it. If teams are going to leave Giannis this open, he has to shoot it. I mean, that's the only way you'll get better. Game is tied at 89, but the Thunder would finish strong. They're up 3. Let's make it 6 after this 3 from Justin Jackson. And then later it gets even worse, and it's going to be Al Horford. You remember this guy? He drives in, and then the fadeaway jumper. Bucks lose their third straight game, 114-109. Now, going all the way back to November, hockey players all laced up their skates with one goal in mind: get to states. Now, Lakeland Union is on the doorstep of history. The Thunderbirds defeated Rhinelander 5-1 on Saturday night. That clinched their first sectional title in school history. Lakeland got out to a hot start with 2 goals from both Victor Masizva and Jack Rubo, but the door was slammed shut by goaltender Max Masizva, continuing a dominant postseason run.
It's something I've always dreamed of since the beginning of the season. I had to step up this year, and I've stepping up in playoffs, and we need that. We need that if we want to make a deep run, and we have.
And with Masizva shutting down the GNC's top offense, the Lakeland forwards knew they just had to capitalize on any opportunity.
We just had to put in as many goals as we can. We know we have an amazing tender, Max Masizva, so yeah, that's all we had to do, just put in some goals. So
Lakeland will play Superior on Thursday night in the D2 semifinals. That game will be played at Spooner, and puck drop is set for 7. And that is all I have for you this chilly morning. Back to the morning crew.
All righty, well, thanks so much. And of course, it is Monday, so that means it's time for today's Mugshot Monday winner. Big congratulations to Ruth Ann Searles from Rhinelander.
That's right. You win a mug, a bag of coffee, and a 20% off coupon courtesy of Eagle River Roasters. And the information to enter into Mugshot Monday is right there on your screen.
All righty, well, coming up, a group of dogs get some help in their search for their forever homes.
But first, Howard's in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with a recipe for presidential peanut muffins.
Mr. Food Test Kitchen is brought to you by Golden Carrot Jewelers and Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio.
Schools are closed today. Government offices are shut down. And if you were thinking of going to the bank, think again. It's President's Day, which means today we're celebrating U.S. presidents, both past and present. Since you might have a little extra time on your hands, what do you say we whip up a presidential favorite? Before we do, did you know that one of President John F. Kennedy's favorite foods was a steaming bowl of clam chowder? And who would have ever guessed that FDR loved an ooey-gooey grilled cheese sandwich? Today, we're baking a Southern-style muffin that we think our 39th President Jimmy Carter would love. After making a super moist peanut butter batter, we spoon it into muffin cups. Then, to take them over the top, we finish them with a nutty streusel topping, and into the oven they go. Let me tell you, these muffins are worth a presidential seal of approval. They're that good. On top, you have an addictively good buttery crumb topping, and on the inside, the muffins are crazy moist. To get the recipe for our presidential peanut muffins, simply visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a perfectly presidential way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
The President's Sale at Slumberland. Come on. Slumberland Furniture has the best prices around, and right now everything is an additional 25% off.
Well, hello, Slumberland.
Get your look for less at the huge President's Sale at Slumberland.
Mondays on Newswatch 12 today features Mugshot Monday. But what exactly is Mugshot Monday?
It starts with the opportunity to win a 12-ounce bag of coffee, with the coffee being sourced from in between the tropics across the world, then brought in here to Eagle River Roasters and roasted to perfection.
Have a good day.
And with that, you'll also win an Eagle River Roasters coffee mug, perfect for that first cup of coffee with your favorite morning crew.
Join us on Monday mornings to see this week's winner.
Register online at WJFW.com.
My name's Arthur, Merrill, Wisconsin. In August of 2019, I started getting numbness in my feet. By July of 2020, my feet were so numb, I lost a sense of balance. I thought I was walking on stilts. I seen this ad for Spinal Aid. I took 20 treatments from them, and by then my feet were 90% better and no longer felt as I was walking on stilts.
Are you experiencing weakness, numbness, and/or pain in your feet or hands? These sensations might even be affecting other areas of your body along with your balance. You might have already been diagnosed with peripheral neuropathy and are taking drugs such as Lyrica, gabapentin, or Cymbalta that never seems to help. Neuropathy pain ultimately diminishes your quality of life. Call Spinal Aid of Wausau today to see if our treatment methods are right for you. Call 715-203-1508 to schedule your neuropathy severity consultation or visit us at spinalaid.com.
He's thinking new mattress. She's thinking, well, a lot of things. It's okay. Get an extra 25% off our already low Slumberland price. The Sealy Posturepedic mattress on closeout for only $529. Our biggest sale of the year at Slumberland Furniture.
You're watching News Watch 12 today with Marissa Silvas, Peter Dubois, and Devin Biggs.
Welcome back. Well, we know that putting yourself out there can be hard, especially if you've been hurt before.
That's right, and ask these guys and they'll tell you it's worth trying. Fetch Foster and Rescue brought a number of adoptable dogs to Northwoods Pets in Rhinelander. For some, it was their first time being out since they've been housed with their foster families.
People always say, I don't know how you can foster, because I would want to keep all of them, and I do fall in love with every single dog that comes through my house. But it's also equally as amazing to see them with their new families. And every dog that leaves my house makes room for another dog to come into my house, too.
I love the dog she's holding. Well, Fetch won't bring you any old pup on demand. They've actually spent a lot of time with the dogs, the families, and the fosters to make sure that whenever they send the dogs that they've rescued home, it's for forever.
They are up to date on their vaccines. We microchip our dogs. Our dogs, as long as they're old enough, are spayed and neutered. We have a lot of people say our applications are too long or too many questions, but that's because our dogs are the most important thing to us.
That's great to hear. And the adoption event kicked off Northwoods Pets' week-long celebration leading up to February 20th. That's National Love Your Pets Day, so mark your calendars. Head to fetchfosterandrescue.com to check out adoptable dogs or consider opening your house up to a foster. And you guys, I even considered the fostering aspect, but I knew that I was just ready to adopt. And so glad I made that decision, and so good to see these dogs hopefully finding their forever homes too.
Exactly, and I love how much time and care they really put into the match. I mean, it's important, you know, it's very important to know the dog, know the family, so that, like they said, hopefully is forever. But anyone's pets this morning, Devin, you're gonna want to keep them indoors as much as you can.
Yeah, if you can keep them indoors as much as possible. Oh my goodness, it is just cold out there. But good news, we do have a warm-up on the way, so maybe t-shirt and shorts with us soon, right? Okay, maybe a little too soon for that. But here we are, wind chill warnings in effect. It's all around the noon period today with a wind chill advisory for Adams County. That will also expire at noon. But yeah, look at these temperatures, and no, you don't need to adjust your TVs. It is 36 below in Phillips. It is 27 below in Arbor Vitae and 36 below in Mantua Schwarters, and we will be warming up later on throughout the day. But a trivia question for today, true or false? Our sunset still occurs before 5 p.m. The answer when we come back.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving something we're missing. The ceramides in CeraVe. They help restore my natural barrier so I can lock in moisture. We've got to have each other's backs.
CeraVe, now the #1 dermatologist recommended skincare brand.
Here we are, your first trip to Minocqua Popcorn and Puffs.
Cheesy caramel? Cheesy caramel, and I'd like to have some of the Dan's Marvelous Ice Cream also. Wonderful.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
4 years ago, I had brain surgery to remove the tumor that was wrapped around my brainstem and spinal cord. Very intense pain in my neck, headaches all the time, and permanent vertigo. I came in and I saw Dr. Dave. He did some work on my top vertebrae. The pressure was alleviated and I can actually stand. It's been wonderful and great.
When the atlas vertebra at the base of the skull is out of alignment, it causes the head to come forward, putting unnatural pressure on joints and nerves. We correct this through a new treatment called the Atlas Prophylax, a revolutionary way to realign the atlas, removing nerve pressure and even restoring blood flow. For many, symptoms and headaches disappear almost immediately.
The first thing we do when somebody comes as a new patient is we sit down and we listen and understand what's going on to see if we can help.
Experience comfort that you never had before. Experience dependability. Experience Marcel's. For decades, more homes in Wisconsin have been burning bright with the warmth and glow of a heat and glow fireplace from Marcel's.
For over 3 generations, from design to complete installation and the best warranty in the industry, we'll provide you the fireplace experience you've always dreamed of. Stop in today and start enjoying your hearthwarming experience with Heat and Glow and Marcel's. We look forward to you being a part of our family.
Get your Newswatch 12 ski and snowboard report every week on Newswatch 12 at 6 and 10 Thursday night and Newswatch 12 Today Friday mornings. The Newswatch 12 ski and snowboard report is brought to you by SureDry Basement Systems.
Hi, I'm Maria Seefeld with Miracle-Ear of Marshfield. If you're struggling hearing your favorite news or TV shows, please stop in and see me for a free hearing test.
Good morning. Coming up here on Today, Al's tracking those historic winter storms, a dangerous mix of snow and ice stretching all the way from the deep south to New England. This morning, everything you need to know to plan out your day. Also ahead this morning on our Changemakers series, we're going to take you to Colonial Williamsburg for a firsthand look at some work being done there at the site of one of the nation's first black churches. It's revealing the city's diverse history as well. We'll have those stories and Hoda's fun conversation with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on what he was really like as a kid, the new sitcom on those formative years, and The Rock's most important role as a doting dad. We'll have those stories and more when we see you here on Today.
And there's actually no Minocqua Popcorn winner today, but here's how you can enter that special someone.
Just head on over to WJFW.com at least 2 weeks before their special day, and that's where you can enter their name and upload a photo for us to air. You can also send us a picture and information to the station. Attention Northwoods Birthday Club, 3217 County Road G in Rhinelander.
And your trivia question for today, true or false? Our sunset still occurs before 5 p.m. What do you guys think?
I see the sun later and later, so I'm going to say true.
You're going to say true?
I'm doubling down. I'm going true as well.
All right, it's actually false. Our sunset's now at 5:25, so we're actually past that point, so sunset's now later, so we're continuing to add some extra daylight, which is great, which will hopefully help get these temperatures out here, too. 26 below in Brandon, Canada this morning, and many other areas just cold, including us, with many other areas near 36 below. But the warm-up on the way, and with the sun lasting longer in the day and the angle getting higher, that's going to help us out, too. 20s above zero, back in the forecast.
All right, we're all looking forward to it, Devin, and thanks for keeping us up to date. And to stay up to date on all of our school closings, go to our website, WJFW.com.
Of course, it's really nice to be back here in studio with you guys, and we hope everyone at home has a wonderful day. Take care.
Newswatch 12 closed captioning is brought to you by Miracle.
Good morning. Coast to coast misery. Nearly 160 million people across this country facing dangerous winter weather. Icy roads causing countless accidents. States of emergency in the south with nearly 2 million people without power in Texas. A foot of snow in Seattle, all of it moving east under a blanket of record cold. Al's got everything you need to know. Battle lines, the growing turmoil inside the GOP in the aftermath of former President Trump's impeachment acquittal.
President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. No question about it.
The Trump movement is alive and well.
The support he's getting from some Republicans and the questions facing the 7 who voted